The world of handheld gaming is evolving. What once started as a niche hobby has grown into a global movement. People want to take their favorite games on the go. They want powerful machines that fit in a backpack, and in this new era, one name has started making serious waves. ASUS thought the original ROG Ally was a bold step. It entered the market when the Steam Deck was still dominating, but ASUS didn't back down. Instead, it offered a Windows-based alternative, packing serious power into a sleek design. Gamers were intrigued, many loved it, but there were flaws and everyone knew it wasn't perfect. That's where the new ROG Ally 2 comes in. For months, rumors have swirled, leaks have trickled in, and excitement has grown. Now, it feels like the wait is almost over with AMD's new Z2 Extreme chip launching. ASUS has the perfect opportunity to raise the bar again, and from what we're hearing, they plan to do just that. Let's rewind for a second. The ROG Ally X came out as a refresh. It wasn't a full upgrade, but it added value. The battery was bigger, 80 watt-hours to be exact. That was a noticeable improvement. RAM went up, storage got a bump, and overall usability improved. But one thing stayed the same: the chip. It still used the Z1 Extreme, the same processor from the first Ally. That left many fans disappointed. For a mid-cycle boost, it was fine. But for gamers expecting next-gen power, it wasn't enough. That's why the Ally 2 matters. This isn't a refresh. It's a rebuild. ASUS is planning 2 versions of the Ally 2. First, there's the white model. This one's for casual gamers, the kind of player who enjoys indie games, older titles, and portability. It's expected to use a lower-tier AMD chip, the Z0. Now, this chip has fewer cores and is built on older architecture. That's a red flag for some, but for many users, it might actually be enough. You don't need ultra performance to play Hades or Stardew Valley. You just need good enough. The white model could hit the sweet spot between cost and capability. But if you're a power user, the black model is where the real action is. This is the flagship. It's expected to come with AMD's new Z2 Extreme APU based on Zen 5 architecture. This chip could be a game changer. Early numbers suggest a 15 to 20% boost in performance. That's big. It means faster load times, smoother gameplay, better thermal control. In short, a better experience all around. And it's not just the chip. The black model could offer up to 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM. That's laptop-level memory in a handheld device. Storage may go up to 4 terabytes. That's more than enough to hold hundreds of games, media files, and mods. For serious gamers, this kind of capacity is essential. Design is another area where ASUS is making bold choices. The flat look of earlier models is gone. The Ally 2 is chunkier, curvier, and more ergonomic. Think Nintendo 60 for controller, but modern. The grips are deeper, the body is shaped for comfort. This matters more than you'd think. Handhelds are great until they start hurting your hands. ASUS seems to have listened to that feedback. Despite the bigger body, the screen will likely stay the same size, 7 inches. This keeps the device portable. It also strikes a good balance between screen real estate and carryability. Larger screens are nice, but they're harder to fit in a bag. 7 inches is the sweet spot. Battery life has always been a concern for handhelds. The Ally X improved it with a larger battery. Now, the Ally 2 will go one step further: fast charging. A 100-watt charging capability is expected. That means less time plugged in and more time playing. No one wants to wait hours for a full charge. This change makes a real difference in day-to-day use. Now, let's talk about Windows. It's flexible. You can run almost anything, but it's not always smooth on a small screen. Navigating the desktop with a joystick can be frustrating. That's where the new Xbox rumors come in. One of the most surprising leaks is the inclusion of a dedicated Xbox button on the black model. It sparked talk of a partnership between ASUS and Microsoft. What if ASUS is working with Xbox to bring a console-like interface to the Ally 2? What if navigating Game Pass, cloud gaming, and your library becomes easier, faster, and more like using an Xbox? That would be huge. Steam has been praised for its simple UI. Windows hasn't caught up yet, but with Microsoft's help, that could change. This kind of software integration would elevate the handheld experience. It could blur the line between console and PC, and it could make the Ally 2 feel less like a mini laptop and more like a full-fledged gaming console you can carry in your hand. And that brings us to the big question: where does the Ally 2 fit in today's market? Competitors are everywhere. Steam Deck Old is polished. Lenovo's Legion Go is gaining ground. Even a Yanio is pushing boundaries. But ASUS has a few advantages. First, brand trust. ASUS has a long history of solid hardware. Second, polish. The original Ally felt refined. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't feel like a prototype. The Ally 2 could set a new standard if it delivers. So, To wrap up this first part of the deep dive, the ASUS ROG Ally 2 is shaping up to be something special to models, to very different audiences, a sleek redesign, serious power under the hood, improved ergonomics, faster charging, and possible Xbox integration. All of these changes show that ASUS is listening. They're not just repeating the past. They're building something new. In the next section, we'll go even deeper. We'll talk about real-world use, how the Ally 2 compares to rivals, what to expect from pricing, future software updates, and what it all means for the future of handheld gaming. Stick around. The future is just getting started.